got giant tortoises. Here we got the tortoise yard. Yes, this is actually a free roaming area because there's one of the tortoises over there. Over here are some young tortoises. And these look small, so I'm guessing these are younger tortoises. Some in the back. We got giant tortoises. We got Galapagos giant tortoise and Aldabra tortoise. You got spurred tortoise and Central Asian tortoise. And there's all the African spurred tortoises, also known as the Sulcata tortoise. Very nice. There's another tortoise there. I'm guessing that's a Central Asian tortoise. Here we got a leopard tortoise and red-footed tortoise. And there's the red-footed tortoise. And also these some young tortoises. Very tiny. Yeah, those are definitely young ones. Oh, there's a leopard tortoise and another red-footed tortoise. It's a nice habitat. You see the Aldabra tortoises in the water cooling off. I see some other tortoises here. I'm guessing these are the Galapagos tortoise. I'm not quite sure.
These are the Aldabra tortoises.
Oh, my bad.
Have any Galapagos in your staff.
Oh, okay.
But they're an endangered species, and it's a lot more paperwork to get them in. So.
Okay. Yes, these are actually Aldabra tortoises, so they don't have the Galapagos tortoises here anymore. There's another really big Aldabra tortoise. Pretty big tortoise. Alright, we got the bald eagle. The bald eagle's name is Cheyenne. Yeah, that's nice. And I do see Cheyenne right there. Yes, the sign says that she has a damaged wing. That's usually the reason why you'd see bald eagles in zoos. It's because they are injured and they cannot live out in the wild. And they said on the information that it's possible that her wing was hurt from a gunshot, meaning that it's possible that this eagle was shot out of the sky. Very, very sad. A bald eagle does have a nice habitat. Some nice information here. And got Tortuga Falls. We got Himalayan Monal and Laughing Kookaburra. And there's the kookaburra there. Yeah, do you see the Monal? It's actually a she, because I can tell it's a female because of its dull feathers. It's usually the males that have the flashy, colorful feathers, because usually the males get to impress the females with their colorful feathers, because then the females get to go with the males. Also got two more laughing kookaburras on the tree there. Also have a food dispenser over here if you want to feed the koi. Also do have a bunch of turtles there. Some over here. Yeah, do you see the koi? Comes a really big koi there. And some people think koi are like your kind of goldfish you have and they grow up to be this size. That's not the case because koi are actually a type of carp. Then we got Prairie Dog Town. We got a black-tailed prairie dog. Alright, there's all the prairie dogs.
Right here, Marco, look
nice. Looks like there's a young one. It's nice. It's another prairie dog right here. Yeah, so prairie dogs have all these tunnels for them to go through. Yeah, prairie dogs will have lots of space for them. Now look at this prairie dog here. Some information here. Really adorable animals.
It's your guys' turn.
Now we got the snake show. Looks like they're getting ready to start the snake show.
All right. How you guys doing? Yeah. Good, good. Well, welcome to the snake show. If you didn't watch the last show, my name's Dane. Obviously, I'm doing the snakes. I'm sure you've all heard of the dog, the Great Dane. I'm the not so Great Dane. That's what my mom calls me. It's funny. You can laugh. Yes, before starting with the animals, I do want to give you a small tour of reptile gardens. Because again, according to Guinness, we're the world's largest reptile collection, so we have a lot. We kind of specify in venomous snakes. I can almost guarantee if you've heard of a venomous snake, we have it, right? Mambas, cobras, taibans, that kind of thing. If you have heard of it, we have it. If you haven't heard of it, we have that too. So lots to see, but we don't just have snakes, right? We have 2 Komodo dragons, which is cool. We have a baby one, he's 4. He's really cute. You know, he has a leash and we take him for walks. He's like, he's cool. And then, kind of the centerpiece of the park, what everyone remembers, is Maniac. Maniac's our saltwater crocodile. Currently, he's the 2nd largest croc in the U.S. He's like a little over 16 feet long. He's about 1,400 pounds. He's huge. And make sure you see him, and it looks like he's inside right now. I don't see him outside. But yeah, if you don't see Maniac, you should probably tell somebody. Okay. He's supposed to be there. He sticks out just a little bit. But yes, then besides that, it's just the 2 shows, the snake show and the alligator show. Make sure you see the alligators. It's way more exciting than the snakes are. This guy out there is really dumb. It's just a terrible job. It's goofy looking, bad jokes. Same thing. Yeah, besides that, it's just prairie dogs to the left. I'm sure none of you have ever seen prairie dogs. We actually have South Dakota's best fed group of prairie dogs over there. People like them. I just think they're snakes. Alright. So that being said, jumping right into it, first guy, super dangerous. It's called the yellow-tailed crebo. This is basically South America's version of the garter snake. Just giant, right? Yes, now that first guy out, I want to know, by a show of hands, how many of you actually like snakes? Nice. Whoa. Way better than last year. And then how many of you are terrified of snakes? Nice, yeah. Cool, that's how to treat volunteers, by the way. Alright. So for those guys who just raise your hand. Okay, I know. Snakes, they seem cold, slimy, gross, evil, whatever. Now snakes, they are cold-blooded. Whoa, hell, weird term. Yeah. Actually, the one I had yesterday did try and bite me in the face, but he did try and bite me. But yeah, so again, cold-blooded is a weird term. Doesn't mean they're always cold. Just means he can't generate his own body temperature. So his body temp kind of fluctuates with the ambient temperature outside as the day goes on. So right now, he's about 78 degrees. That's what it is in here. But as soon as it warms up to at 90 degrees later today, then his body temperature is going to warm up. Right? So kind of a weird term. And then also, I know people think snakes are slimy. Hey, you'll notice this guy when he's moving around, there's no snail trails, not leaving any kind of slime, right? So it's really dry and really smooth, these snakes especially. Some are rough. The stuff you find in South Dakota, garter snakes, rattlesnakes, bull snakes, they're pretty rough. That being said, then the first thing you kind of notice about this snake, besides his great big old yellow tail, is she's up here sticking her tongue at his chest. Just like that, right? Alright. Now, she's not being rude. It's just how she smells, right? Yeah, so weird enough, snake sense of smell is his most important sense. He uses it over sight even. It's perfect size. She loves kids too. It's like her favorite snack. No, so snake sense of smell, definitely their most effective sense. And you'll see all 6 snakes at ranch. They're all sticking their tongues at you. It's just kind of how they get aware of their surroundings. But yeah. So, I'll put this guy back. Again, this is kind of just the first introductory snake. Nothing too crazy. But this is a really big one. It's also a cousin to the indigo snake, if you ever heard that guy. Right. Put him back. Now, that being said, I'm going to tell you the first 2 snakes that I have are harmless. They are non-venomous. And then we'll work our way into fun stuff. But now, that being said, this next guy is the biggest snake that I have. So that makes it usually everyone's favorite. These guys you probably heard of. They are really common, and unfortunately, they're really invasive in Florida. So I'm sure that's what you've heard of. It's called a Burmese python. Why not, buddy? And as you can tell, this is a pretty big snake. This is a small Burmese python. I call this guy George. George is probably 6.5 feet, and like 30 pounds. So this is just a small one. Big female Burmese pythons reach 15 feet and 150 pounds. In Florida, they're big and they eat alligators. So big, very powerful snakes. Now that being said, he's also non-venomous. At least that's my boss told me. So he's a constrictor. I like talking about constriction. Okay, constriction definitely seems like a suffocating, choking, gory, gross thing. It's not. Weird enough, it's really precise. All constriction is the snake squeezes so hard the animal has a rapid drop in blood pressure. So they die of a heart attack or cardiac arrest. So weird enough, no broken bones, no eyeballs popping out, no heads exploding, no. Have you ever seen the movie Anaconda? No, talk about it. It's a funny movie. It's hilarious. I'll watch it all the time. And yeah, like I said, it's really precise, really fast, like 5, 6, 7 seconds. It's incredibly fast. But yeah, then once they kill the animal, they have to eat it. And obviously a couple things about snakes, they don't have hands. They can't stuff food in their mouth. And also their tongues, you might see as she sticks his tongue out, their tongues are really long and skinny, so they can't use them to swallow like people do. So these guys, they've kind of adapted some recurved teeth. So this snake has about 150 to 200 teeth pointed to the back of his throat. Now actually that's how he swallows. Okay, he kind of chews it, and then of course swallows. And even if you don't know anything about snakes, you know these guys can swallow prey several times their own diameter. It's because they don't have a chin. So, the only limit to how wide he can open his mouth, how far his skin will stretch. And I'll kind of go around here, but snake skin, as you can tell, is really, really stretchy. So again, he can swallow stuff 2 or 3 times his own diameter. Again, just like all these little kids up front here. Yeah, really stretchy, and doesn't hurt him. So there he is. There's George. That's Dan's favorite. But yeah, so I'm putting him back. As he's going away though, I want to tell you guys, at the end of the show, okay, once I'm done with all of the venomous stuff, I'm going to bring him back out. I'm going to bring him up front, and I'm going to let everybody pet the snake if you'd like. Okay? Yeah, now, for those of you earlier who raised your hand and said you don't like snakes, and I know you don't want to pet the python, just know you have to anyway. If you don't, I will chase you. Get my leg. Alright. Put him back. There we go. Then on to the fun stuff. Venomous snakes. Okay. Now obviously before I bring out a venomous snake, I have to say, obviously don't try this at home. Technically, I am a trained professional, according to Facebook. Facebook's never wrong. Yeah, so this guy is kind of cool, it's native to Southeast Asia. It's one of my favorite kinds of venomous snakes. It's called the mangrove snake. There it is. There it is. Okay. So yeah, like I said, this guy is venomous. But this guy is rear fang venomous. Obviously that means his fangs are at the back of his mouth. And because his fangs are at the back of his face, he has to kind of chew his prey if he wants to use those fangs. Now in chewing it, I'm sure you can assume it's a fairly slow method of venom delivery. So most of these rear fang venomous snakes will use constriction to kill their prey. And weird enough, most rear fang snakes are harmless to people. There is actually a lot of rear fang venomous snakes out there. If you don't know, South Dakota has rear fang venomous snakes. One's called the hognose snake. And they're harmless. They're really cool. They get like 2 feet. People have them as pets. We scare them. They play dead. And they pop on their back and stick their tongue out. Cute. Harmless. That being said, there are some rear fang venomous snakes that are deadly. Okay, a good example is the boomslang. The boomslang is native to Africa. If you get bit by that snake, you start bleeding from every hole in your body. Right? Your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your fingertips, your toes, that kind of thing. Everything else too, right? Really bad. And that bite's so bad, we are the only place in the country where you can see that snake. Cool. It's like a jet black color. Really just tells you just how dumb we are. It's not the worst thing we have here, unfortunately. Yeah, but then that being said, this mangrove snake, nobody's ever died from the mangrove snake, right? And honestly, I don't want to be the first. That would be really embarrassing. But you guys, you'll love this. We have had bites from the mangrove snake at shows, right? And when somebody gets bit at a show, everyone loves it. You know, everyone says, best show they've ever seen. And everyone whips up the phones and video, laughs, you know, nobody gets help or anything. But the last fight we had was last year, and it was really funny. I'll tell you the story, it's hilarious. But the guy got bit. Okay, this guy, it's like the biggest, dumbest guy you've ever seen. Me here. So if you're doing a show just like this, snake's tail on his left hand, head off to the right. Somehow from down there, that snake reached up and bit him on his left hand. Okay. How that happened, I have no clue. Again, this guy, really dumb. Right? Now, within like 10 minutes, this guy's hand was huge. It's twice its original size. It's purple and black. There's leaking pus everywhere. You can squeeze it and shoot juice to the back row of the audience. Yeah, I'm okay now. And then the next week I got bit by an alligator. I don't know why I'm Alright. So like I said, nobody died from him. Next guy though, this is the first potentially deadly snake that I have. It's also weird enough the first one native to the US. If you've been to the southeast, in Florida, Texas, Carolinas, whatever, you've heard of this guy. They are really notorious down there. You know, this guy is a semi-aquatic pit viper and he is really friendly. It's called the cottonmouth. Some people know them as the water moccasin. Same thing. But yeah, there he is. Alright. So, cottonmouth, like I mentioned, is a viper. So a lot of people don't know all the venomous snakes in the U.S. except for the coral snake are vipers. Okay, this includes rattlesnakes, cottonmouths, copperheads. Now, think about vipers. These guys have giant fangs. I know their fangs are so big, he doesn't have to bite. Now, the last snake, if he wants to use those fangs, he has to actually latch on to the animal. All this guy does to inject his venom, he opens his mouth, sticks his fangs out there, reach out, barely pokes the prey. His tiniest little scratch. The venom's injected, he kicks back, waits for the venom to do its thing, and eats his little kid. Yeah, they are really fast. There actually is some vipers clock striking upwards of 200 miles an hour. And so, very fast, very explosive snakes. That being said, this snake, not really toxic venom. They're not really that dangerous for the snake. Weird enough, the last death from a cottonmouth was 1971, over 50 years ago. Kind of surprised people. So these snakes have a bad reputation. how many of you guys have actually heard of or seen a cottonmouth? A lot of you guys? Sure. Nice, yeah. So like I said, you've probably heard the stories about these snakes. I've heard every story under the sun about how they chase people and dive on people out of trees and chase you in the water. I had a guy one time tell me he came across one in the swamp, chased him out of the swamp, down the road, into his car, chased him down the interstate, going 90 miles an hour. And he said he chased him all the way home, snuck into his bed, bit him in his sleep. Funny story. And those stories make me laugh. Because weird enough, snakes can't be mean, they can't be aggressive. So really this is kind of misunderstanding what the animal is doing. Now this snake doesn't really have a good way of defending himself. It's not like a rattlesnake where he has a rattle to tell you he's there. So what this guy does to scare away predators is he flashes his cotton white mouth and makes him look big and intimidating. And I'll see if I can show you guys here. Okay. Yeah. So again, he does that, makes him look big and scary. It works. Yeah, so he does that. But then you notice, once I leave him alone, he doesn't care about it. Like, completely ignores me, probably hates me, wants to kill me, you know? That's just how you know it's a girl. Alright. Put her back. There we go. And like I said, we're kind of lucky. A little over 50 years ago, the last person died from that snake. And again, that kind of surprises people, but you know, snakes in the U.S., they kind of have a bad reputation. We have like 1 death from venomous snakes in a year. On a bad year, like 5,000 bites. So we're really lucky here. That being said, some other parts of the world not so lucky. So that's where we're going. So next guy, this is the most dangerous snake that I have. Right. And this, no, obviously this is a question I get all the time. What is the most dangerous or most deadly snake? It's a good question. Honestly, there's a lot of answers out there, a lot of information out there. So 2 most common answers to this is the snake with the most toxic venom and the snake who kills the most people every year. If you don't know, the snake with the most toxic venom is my ex-girlfriend. That's my favorite show. No, I'm kidding. So it's called the inland taipan. We have one. They're native to Central Australia. You know, it takes about 1 milligram of their venom to kill a person. The snake will inject 100 to 120 milligrams in the full bite. So it is very potentially deadly, but on record, only 1 person has actually died from the inland taipan. So because of that, people don't think it's deadly. Instead, I think it's this guy. Now, you've all seen this snake. This is probably the most famous type of venomous snake out there. It's called the monocled cobra. There it is.
Wait, sit down.
You guys are standing up front. You want to sit down? Everybody can see him? Alright. There he is. That's why he's in the box. So, you know, cobras, obviously the coolest part about cobras is the hood. Everybody's seen pictures, videos of the cobra hood now. But all that is, he has ribs in his neck that he can move. And he does this just like the cottonmouth to make himself look big and intimidating to scare away predators. And it works. Because of that snake, I always try and bring like 4 or 5 pairs of underwear with me. Yes, you can. Yeah, for a couple reasons. Obviously, this snake, he is very deadly, so he does cause about 20,000 deaths a year, which is a lot. You know, that's 4 times as many bites we have in this country. And it's kind of unfortunate. It's because of where they live. You know, Southeast Asia is the most populated part of the world. There's a lot of people just walking around nonchalant, you know, whatever. And honestly, in Southeast Asia, the medical care is not the best. So weird enough, there's a bad shortage of the anti-venom for these snakes. Right? So, yeah, these are all reasons why you'll never see me in Southeast Asia. Kind of the same thing in Florida too. Stuff in Florida, lots of crazy stuff in Florida. And I'm not talking about just the animals. I'm not sure if more scared of people than animals in Florida. Yeah, again, this guy very deadly. Yeah, if you do like cobras, we have several of them in the dome. We have a Samar spitting cobra. We also have a brand new, like, 13-foot king cobra. We just got in the mail a couple weeks ago. Oh, that was USPS, in case you're wondering. Yeah. Easy peasy. Let's put him back. And again, he's very deadly. That's why he's in the box. Personally, I do not get paid enough to take him out of the box for a show. Because the last guy who had him out, this is all that's left of him. Really deadly. Put him back. There we go. Also, if you want to see, we had 5 baby monocule cobras this year. They're on our Facebook. They're really cute. You know, they're like, they put up, they hiss, they strike, and they're like this big. Correct. So, last one. Usually the one everyone wants to see at the snake show. You know, when you come here in true South Dakota, you want to know what we have native. If you live here, you know we only have one true venomous, dangerous venomous snake. These guys, they are really uncommon. You know, I hear, that's like 10,000 people a year who never see one the entire time they live here. So really, that's what I'd like to show them, but I'm sure you know who this guy is.
Rattlesnake.
The Prairie rattlesnake. He's just a cute little buzzer, isn't he? Look, he's excited to be here. Look at him. Wagging his tail and everything. Come on, that would be good. So rattlesnakes, though, obviously the coolest part about the rattlesnake is the rattle, hence the name. And we all know what you get when you come up to this snake and count the number of segments on his rattle, right? Yeah, you get bit. Unfortunately, this is probably the most common myth I hear about rattlesnakes. Is you get the age by the segments on his tail. Weird enough, he gets a segment every time he sheds, which would be like 10 or 12 times a year, and his rattles do fall off and regrow. Okay, so really, no real way to tell the age of a rattlesnake by the rattle. Like I said, probably the most common myth, but really, and 90% of the things you hear about these snakes are, they're almost always
You can hear him rattling.
just yeah, so that being said, rattlesnakes, they are, again, very secretive, and honestly, not a lot of people know much about these snakes. There's a lot of questions about rattlesnakes. I'm sure you can imagine, the single most common question about the rattlesnake is, what do you do if you hear one? You're out hiking, whatever. I actually saw one like 2 weeks ago when I was hiking. It's kind of cool. It's a good question. I used to love to ask this to the audience, and I've heard lots of answers, and I love them. Run, scream and run, push your friend down first and run. It's really common. But probably the best answer I've ever got was from a little girl. She was like 6. But she was sitting up front. She was really polite too. She raised her hand and everything. And she told me that if you hear that sound, that you should stop, drop, and roll. Don't do that. Don't do that. Unless the snake's on fire. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, so I love answering this question because the real answer kind of goes against what a lot of people believe. All you want to do if you hear that sound is freeze. You'll notice once I stop moving, he stops rattling. And it's because people, we're giants for these things. Just me being here is very big and very intimidating, especially when you're moving around, right? So this is dangerous. He has to be defensive. Right, so you just want to freeze, find him, and then you can scream and run all you want. If you're 4, 5, 6 feet away, you're perfectly safe, right? You see how close I am. Right? But I know a lot of you probably prefer like 4, 5, 6 miles. And then there's people like me. We're kind of dumb. You like to get nice and close, you want to come up and tease them, or get your stick and poke them and prod them, make them all nice and mad, get them to strike at you, that kind of thing. If you're doing that, obviously that's when people get bit. Weird enough, over half of the venomous snake bites in the world happen that way, when people are trying to tease or kill them. And for some reason, and this is a really weird fact, I have no idea why this is, most of those bites happen to men. Weird, right? For some reason, they're like 18 to 25 years old, and alcohol is almost always a factor. I don't know what to tell you about all those drunken rattlesnakes. They're deadly. Don't give snakes beer. I've heard all stories. It's whatever. If you do, just know these snakes can bite up to 8 hours after they've been decapitated. Lots of bites do happen that way. One is reflex, and two, they are alive for some of that time. And you know, also, people just don't realize how important this snakes to the ecosystem. You know, he eats all kinds of rodents, mice, rats, voles, prairie dogs, little kids, all that kind of stuff. And again, they're just cool from a distance, not necessarily up here on the end of your tongue. And there it is. And yeah, so prairie rattlesnake again is the last snake that I have for you guys. So I'm gonna wrap this up here, but what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna leave him out. If you guys want to come get a picture or video of him, go ahead. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna bring George the python back out and let everybody pet the snake. One thing that I always like to kind of mention before I end the show, you know, a question I get a lot is everyone likes to ask if I ever feel scared up here. So I'm dealing with a very dangerous, very deadly snake. Real answer is no, y'all. And this is because I've had very vigorous training. And my training included like a 2-minute long YouTube video and a quiz that I failed 4 times. But no, all this video says, you stay about this far away from the snake, you're perfectly safe. They did say it, if he is striking at me and I'm scared for my life, all I have to do is I'm gonna come up to this snake. And I'm gonna come up with my snake hook, I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna hook him about half to a third of the way up his body, right? Just like that. And I'm really gonna make sure I get a good hook on him, a good hook, grab on with 2 hands like this, lift him up, and then I'm gonna flick him out to you guys. Then I'm sick. And we already have your money, that's all we need. No, but like I said, I'm going to bring him out. And again, everyone has to pet the snake. We have cameras that will find you. Besides that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the park, and thank you very much.
We got the Spring Creek Gulch. Oh, very interesting pair. Got this little mining creek here, looks like. And we got Avian Avenue. We got a yellow-headed vulture. Oh, that's nice. Good-looking birdie.
Oh, we only hired the best model.
So some people think that vultures might be scary-looking birds, but these birds here actually serve a valuable purpose. Because these actually remove all the dead animals from off the road. It's very, very nice. Yeah, an African auger buzzard. It's a nice bird. And here got a gray parrot and Catalina macaw. Yeah, you see the birdie. Got the gray parrot on the right here. And the Catalina macaw on the left. I like our work. Yeah, so these are some little things that the macaws and parrot made. Very nice. Very creative birds. How loud are parrots? Raptor wingspans. Bird heights. You got a king vulture. Wow. Very colorful birds. They got those red heads, those yellow throats. It's a very nice bird. You got a barn owl. There's the barn owl right there. Raptor's day, flying, perching, and eating. We got Eurasian eagle owl. That's a very nice looking bird. It's a fun fact here. Yes, looks like all the Cuban crocodiles are back inside. So there's actually more of them in here than there was before. Actually, another one outside. Siamese crocodiles now up out of the water. It's cooling off. And of course, I had to come back to see Maniac, the saltwater crocodile, one last time. And I did talk about the saltwater crocodile, both the alligator show and the snake show. And came back to the Nile crocodile. Looks like they moved a little. And there's the second one again. Alright everybody, that is going to do it for my visit to Reptile Gardens in the Black Hills near Rapid City, South Dakota. I had a really great time coming here. Saw lots of great variety of snakes and reptiles. Especially love seeing the huge saltwater crocodile. Do love the snake show. They even had a few different variety of bird species here. I know there's some of you out there that don't enjoy snakes, but still, I wanted to come here anyway, just in case some of you like snakes. So it was a very, very nice place. I absolutely loved every minute of it. Leave some comments down below of what was your favorite animal that I saw today. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel. I go to zoos and aquariums across the United States. If this is the kind of stuff that you enjoy, check out my channel. I am almost at 600 subscribers at the time of this filming. I upload new videos every Saturday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time. Bye!